That's right. That's right. Super excited. We have ETH Denver this week. Seeing everybody hopping off their planes. I'm a little jealous. I'm not there yet, but we'll be there soon. We have the Dev Summit taking place 27th and 28th. Man, I see the numbers coming in. We're already over 124 already coming in live. Super excited for this episode on the live stream. We've got Circle Aptos talking about building with native USDC. And I'm super excited. We here are excited that USDC is now natively available on Aptos mainnet and accessible to all developers and users. No bridging required anymore. That's right. Circle Mint and its APIs are now fully support USDC on Aptos, making it easy for financial institutions to access USDC liquidity and benefit from Aptos' fast and secure network. With cross-chain transfer protocol or CCTP on Aptos as well, it's going to enable developers and users to transfer USDC natively. We're going to talk about the benefits on building on the Aptos blockchain, benefits with building with USDC, as well as cover some great use cases. We've got a great lineup here. Super excited. What's going on, everybody? We got Corey Cooper, Jalen, and Ash. How's everybody doing today? You guys ready? Happy Monday?
GM.
That's right. GM to everybody out there. So let's go ahead and start off with some introduction. I'm going to start all the way to my right, Ash, head of ecosystem. How you doing today? Welcome to the show.
I'm doing great, Sam. Thank you for having me. I'm head of ecosystem here at Aptos Foundation, and what that quite simply means is co-building and enabling ambitious founders around strategic priorities that truly differentiate the Aptos network. So I'm really excited to be here and go deep with you guys.
Awesome. And I'm excited to have you here. Thanks for joining us. Jay, what's up, man? We've been talking for a minute. I'm glad that we're finally connecting on the show. DeFi growth. Tell us a little bit about that.
Right. Thanks for having me. And Sam, you're a great host. Your voice is like top tier host DJ of any stream, right? Nice to meet everyone. My name is Jay. I'm head of DeFi at Aptos. So I work very closely with all of the DeFi projects that are building on Aptos. We're helping them to plan out their growth in the ecosystem, plan out liquidity management, right? And help them to succeed within Aptos, which is the big pillar for us. Right. So nice to be here.
Awesome. And last but not least, it's Corey, I get to work with you every day. I'm super excited, but I get even more excited when the rest of the community can hear you chat, hear your insights. Corey Cooper, DevRel manager here at Circle. How are you doing?
Doing great. It's always good to be on a live stream with you, Sam. I mean, we have some really good epic conversations. I think this is going to continue on with the epic innovation that we're going to expose to the industry developers. And so I'm on the DevRel team here at Circle. What I focus on is helping educate developers about how to enable blockchain infrastructure into their applications using the dev tooling that Circle is building for USDC and our other stablecoin, EURC, as well.
Awesome. As you can see on the screen, I'm looking over to my right here. I got a big old monitor. If you want to give a shout out, I'm putting you up on the screen. Shout out to I see what it was a D13, the GM Synchro. Haha, amazing. Yes, we did not plan that. I promise you, that was just all like off the fly, happening live. So thanks for noticing and appreciate it. Corey, let's start off with you. Exactly, what does it really mean when we say USDC is now native to a blockchain? I figure like we need to start from the foundation before we go any further.
Yeah. So great question, Sam. You kind of alluded to some of it earlier in your intro, but what that means is Circle will now deploy a token contract of USDC on a blockchain, which is the Aptos chain, and administer that actual token contract. And it will connect it to its interoperable, traditional financial rails through our Circle Mint product. So Circle Mint enables the minting and redeeming of USDC for financial institutions. And so basically, Circle allows financial institutions to set up a business account with us, and they get a Circle Mint account. And that Mint account gives them access to a suite of APIs for them to mint and redeem USDC 24/7 instantly from their bank account. And so just to kind of break down that process into its simplest form is business signs up for a Circle account, gets approved, then they send basically a wire transfer of their USD to our reserve bank account, and then we respond back with tokenizing that USDC and transferring it to their Circle Mint account, where they now can programmatically do things with that USDC from that Circle Mint account.
Man, that's big stuff. That's big stuff.
Yeah. And then, also too, with Aptos, this is very unique. We not only have native USDC on Aptos, we also have CCTP as well. And so CCTP stands for Cross-Chain Transfer Protocol. And so that enables developers to basically transfer liquidity from other blockchain networks that we support in our CCTP ecosystem natively to the Aptos chain. And so what we mean by that is now there is a native way where you can access our protocol to move USDC liquidity from, let's just say, Ethereum to Aptos without having to worry about wrapping an asset and issuing a bridge version of USDC to the Aptos ecosystem. And so how that works is, since Circle administers both token contracts on the source and destination chain, the destination chain would be, in this example, Aptos, a developer can call a set of smart contract functions that Circle has deployed via smart contract with the CCTP protocol and burn USDC from the source chain and mint USDC on the destination chain of choice. And so that would be Aptos. And so a developer can, easily and securely access the suite of smart contract functions to burn USDC and move it into the Aptos ecosystem safely and securely, and get up and running and basically enable their end users to take advantage of all of the innovation that's happening on the chain.
Very good. Very good. I appreciate it. That was a great rundown, great overview. And so, Ash, we've got you here. We talked about some of the additions that Circle is bringing over to the Aptos ecosystem. Let's talk about maybe some of the benefits of building on the Aptos blockchain, and maybe starting off with an overview of Aptos infrastructure and ecosystem.
Yeah, thanks, Sam. We're obviously super excited. This day has been a long time coming, even before Aptos came to mainnet, going back to its Libra origin at Meta. To put it very simply, we believe Aptos is the chain for global money movement. There's a few ways in which we define how that comes to light. One is there is economic value being transferred from a peer-to-peer perspective in a permissionless way. Two, payments can move without friction and support many greenfield use cases that traditional finance can't support. And three is really around decentralized infrastructure, which is how do we set up to scale to onboard Web 2 level apps and businesses on chain. And so we're very excited about native USDC integration because it opens a lot of those opportunities up in a very real way. In terms of why Aptos is an interesting place to build, I mentioned its origins from Libra and within Meta, but it was really required from a technical architecture perspective to be able to power billion user super app economies on Meta. So it was built from that starting point, which is why you see a lot of the elegance in terms of its Move programming language and how it thinks about settlement. So, we have sub-second finality, parallel execution, and scalability that I believe other L1s really can't match. We recently published that we're on pace to be the first blockchain to achieve 20,000 TPS with sub-second latency, which is a huge achievement.
No, that's big. That's big. You know, hey.
It is big. You know, we need to pump our chest a bit more, but it's huge for us, right? And mostly
I got excited for you. Don't worry.
Yeah. We obviously have the native security features built in through asset-oriented programming that really makes building complex DeFi and payments infrastructure safer and more scalable. Again, this is what was required from our origin story to actually power some of the enterprises and apps. And we have native USDC integration that allows people to transact or send the most efficient dollar around the world for a fraction of the cost, even versus the next highly performant or high throughput L1. And then lastly, I think is an important cultural aspect of the company here, which is, you know, the engineers at Aptos are a very strong team of people who are building and solving systems level problems for billion user app economies and Fortune 50 companies. So that is how they think, that is how they implement change. And so it's just really a prime time to build on Aptos because of all of those things.
I like that. I like that a lot. And I want to say something else. I'm going to go back to this. Ash has probably one of the coolest profile photos that I've ever seen. So, you know, just want to give another shout out to the profile photo, Ash. And you know, just shout out to that. You talk as good as it looks. Okay, that's what's want to let you know.
Sam, you know what's dangerous about that photo is I took it when I was 25, so I always have to look like that now.
It keeps you motivated. It keeps you motivated.
Yeah.
D, well, let's talk about the ecosystem. Let's talk about the ecosystem a lot. I know that there's several different key pillars that you focus on. So maybe you could kind of run through some of those highlights.
Yeah, so happy to talk about it. You know, I gave kind of a general introduction of why it's great to build here in the origin story. I think for us, there are 4 pillars in terms of what we want to see out of the ecosystem. The first one, which we feel is any backbone for any healthy ecosystem, is deep liquidity for users and significant value movement. Value could be anything from real world assets to cryptocurrencies to stablecoins to user generated assets, but having that self-sustaining economy on chain and value being transferred is critically important for builders to tap into and mostly experiment and try new things, which I think is really the only way any ecosystem can be ensured to see around the corner and keep up with all the crazy new metas in Web3. The second piece of that is we really want successful and unicorn businesses and tokens launching on chain. We think that the network and the dev tooling that has been built here was for super app economies. And we think the next Web3 native super app economy that's going to onboard millions, if not billions, is going to come from native builders. And so we're very excited to put emphasis around that key pillar. The third is really breakout products and use cases that onboard millions. Obviously now with the native USDC integration, we can start to think in very blue sky terms of what can be accomplished here, which I'm excited to go deeper with between Jay and I and you guys. And then the fourth pillar of the ecosystem in terms of what we care about is developers being able to earn a living building on Aptos. You know, I think what we see through every successful ecosystem is a community aspect around builders who are passionate around the technical infrastructure, but also can rely on each other to pay their bills, either through job placement or bounties to make the network better and stronger. So across those 4 pillars are something that we're extremely focused on. I'll dive a little bit deeper into the breakout products and use cases that we think are important to onboarding millions, if not billions of folks. There's really 3 buckets that we think about investing with high conviction on. One is Web3 consumer. I think that with high throughput blockchains, we get to think about and envision through a consumer lens, not just necessarily how much shots on goal can we work with the different infrastructure protocols. It's like, no, like, let's build a decentralized YouTube on chain now. Like, what's the roadmap? So I think that's like an area for us that is deeply important for us to accelerate. This is everything from SocialFi, prediction markets, to art and culture, and everything in between. How do we make the chain fun, and how do we get users to come time and time again across dApps to retain, is deeply important for us. The second pillar within the use cases bucket is stables and payments, right? We are a high throughput chain now integrated with Circle. We're a high throughput payment rails. So how do we think about off and on ramp infrastructure, last mile delivery of pay-ins and payouts, stablecoin expansion, B2B and B2C payment solutions, and even microtransaction and microloan frameworks that open up financial access to markets that may not have added access to it before. So that is kind of the second bucket in the products and use cases. And then, the third is really decentralized infrastructure. So how can we be prepared to support that billion user scale app, as well as push forward emergent technologies like AI in a decentralized way. And so for us, it's obviously thinking through decentralized physical info networks, or DePIN, blockchain-based content delivery, data availability solutions, and AI and ML infrastructure integration. So that is kind of the short end of kind of how we think about products and use cases that we want to see on Aptos, because we're built for them. But at the end of the day, the most important thing is having really ambitious founders locked in. So that will always trump all of our opinions across everything.
Yeah, I can relate to that. Shout out to Jeremy Allaire. That is our driving force. So yeah, shout out to Jeremy Allaire and the entire leadership. You nailed it on that one. Well, good. We got that kind of basis. Jay, you've been quiet for a little bit, but I promise you, I'm going to you right now. Let's talk about the benefits of building with USDC. Let's start from the top. A quick primer on integrating USDC for commerce and especially DeFi, especially from your perspective as a DeFi growth.
Yeah, so DeFi, it's really the backbone of any chain that wants to process huge amount of dollars on a chain, right? And there can be so many use cases built around how USDC can be used on chain, right? And the very simple use cases like USDC money markets, right? And we have seen that live 4 or 5 years ago when Aave and Compound went live on Ethereum, right? And Aptos itself, we have a very robust ecosystem of USDC money markets. So I'm going to take this time to give a shout out to a few loyal builders that have been building with us, right? Such as Aries, Echelon, Echo, Meso, Superposition, Jewel, right? So these are a few like USDC money markets where people can hit there to deposit USDC, right? And then we have the Aave, which is the superstar on Ethereum, right? Announcing their integration with Aptos, coming very, very soon, right? And then another kind of big use case, it's providing liquidity in a DEX, right? This has been very popular since the Uniswap days of the DeFi renaissance, and users and developers who are building USDC on Aptos can do so on the various DEXs on Aptos, such as Tala, Hyperfluid, LiquidSwap, Solana, and they can provide liquidity across those DEX, which facilitates swaps on the chain itself, right? And then USDC can also be used as collateral to trade on perpetual DEXs, right? And that is a very use case for especially those like degen traders or degen developers that wants to facilitate perpetual trading, right? And on Aptos, we have two very prominent protocols. One is called Merkle, one is called Tethys, and a few other perpetual DEXs that are being built up, right? And of course, there are also USDC can be built for more complex DeFi use cases, such as structured products, strategies that perhaps more complex yield farmers want to run on chain, right? And if let's say you're a developer wanting to build for that, right, Aptos is a perfect place, right? And last but not least, which is in my opinion one of the most important use cases, it's cross-border transfers, right? I think that's where blockchain really shines, and where Aptos really shines, right? Where it empowers very cheap, very fast international transfers of USDC. And to put it into perspective, right, like a $1 in gas fees can support more than 100,000 USDC cross-border transfers, and that's a huge unlock for, especially for the remittance space.
Wait, say that again. What was that number?
Like $1 in gas fees can power more than 100,000 cross-border transfers of USDC.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, that's good. Yeah. Ooh. Had to make sure I heard you correctly. That's great.
It's a huge unlock, because if you want to enable cross-border payments at scale, it has to be done cheaply. Number one, it has to be done in a very fast pace, and that is something that really shines on Aptos itself.
Absolutely. I got a question for you. I've been seeing this word accelerate pop up multiple times. Tell me what is the background of accelerate? What does that mean? I'm seeing Aptos put it out. Anybody here know?
I mean, I don't think we made it up, if that's what you're asking. But I think to me, it's a general ethos of Web3, right? Which is in the sense of, if you don't do it yourself, this change is not going to come. So your only option is to really accelerate, right? I think I've only been professionally in the space for a little over 3 years. But what I know now that I didn't know when I joined was that there is no certainty to project in the long horizon to say, hey, you know what? Decentralized networks are better for humanity, right? We are at constant battle with middlemen, centralized entities, value extractors in terms of controlling distribution. That everyone needs to work hard to move people over to this space that we believe in. So that's how I kind of take accelerate into context.
Nice. But yeah, I think, the cross-border, access, I think is absolutely important. There's been like some talk of a pretty big integration, excuse me, with Stripe. I know, Corey, we were talking about this earlier as well.
Yeah. I think that, before we kind of talk about the Stripe stuff, I would like to kind of talk about just, the properties of Aptos and the programming language of Move combining with the blockchain of Aptos gives it some unique properties for money transfer and payments, to operate at scale on the Aptos ecosystem. And so, with that, I think the things that developers are going to be able to do on chain, with being able to embed custom logic into the transaction layer, using Aptos and the Move programming language, it's going to unlock some really cool e-commerce and payment flow innovation. And you combine that with Stripe. Now, Aptos and USDC is accessible to millions of merchants online around the world and billions of users around the world who have used Stripe before. So I guess that's the perfect segue into, allowing Ash and Jay to just kind of lightly touch on, what does it mean for Aptos to be, supported by Stripe?
Yeah. So obviously Stripe, it's a international big name, and it is a very important partner that we have been cultivating this collaboration with, right? And a very core use case is that Stripe will really be empowering stablecoin USDC payments on Aptos, right? And at a level, it's where Stripe will be empowering on-ramps, right, for both APT and USDC directly to Aptos. Right? And that's a huge unlock, right? Because if, let's say, you want to get USDC on Aptos, right, there are several on-ramp providers, and Stripe being one of such a huge player in the space will really unlock the ability for millions of users around the world to on-ramp fiat to stablecoin USDC on Aptos directly, right? And the second use case is also allowing the millions of merchants that Stripe work with to accept USDC payments directly on Aptos. Right, so it allows for new businesses, new merchants who want to run their businesses on a blockchain on Aptos, right, to accept USDC payments powered by Aptos itself. Right, so I think there's a huge unlock on both the merchant side and both on the retail side as well.
Wow. Yeah, that's going to be major. And I think it's going to drive a lot of innovation and applications to want to plug into the Aptos infrastructure for their applications. So very excited to see more key partnerships between the Aptos ecosystem and very, very solid foundational dev tooling companies like Stripe.
So Jay, we talked about this, I know from a Circle's perspective earlier, in regards to CCTP also now being available on the blockchain. Maybe you could talk a little bit about, what that means for developers.
Yeah, CCTP, it's a very prominent like cross-chain messaging tooling that allows developers to move USDC, transfer USDC from any CCTP supported chain to Aptos. Right? And it was great to see CCTP being enabled on Aptos on the day one of integration. And I personally tried it myself, was very impressed, right? Because I was trying to transfer USDC from Solana to Aptos. It took me less than 10 seconds to get USDC from Solana to Aptos, right? And that's very fast, right? And that allows for users across major EVM chains that you guys at Circle support with CCTP enabled on Solana, on Sui, right, to transfer USDC to Aptos at a very fast speed, right? And what it also enables also native USDC transfer, so no wrap assets in between as intermediary, which introduces unnecessary trust assumptions. Right? So I think that's where CCTP really shines, and it really empowers Aptos. And one of our partner, which is Wormhole, right? They have this USDC CCTP portal, which allows users, if let's say you have USDC on Ethereum, on Arbitrum, on Solana, right, to transfer to Aptos at zero slippage, 1:1. And you can receive it in a very fast speed.
Very nice. Yeah. Shout out to the Wormhole.
Yeah, definitely shout out to Wormhole. I'd also like to add too, if you're a developer, you're looking to try to test this out on testnet, you can definitely go to our developers.circle.com URL address and then click on the stablecoins section. And within CCTP, there is a Aptos packages menu item on the left sidebar of the screen, which will walk you through the different smart contracts that you need to interact with to be able to move liquidity from one chain to the Aptos blockchain. So it's a very visceral experience when you first do it, because you're like, wow, I just natively moved one of the largest assets on chain from a EVM to a non-EVM chain, like Aptos. So it's pretty amazing permissionless tech.
Yeah, and I'll say within 3 weeks, we have seen almost 90 million of USDC move to Aptos. And we expect this number to keep going up. But, it's very interesting and a really great metric to see.
Yeah, and I think that's huge. And so if all you've been watching, I've been putting up the some QR codes and some URLs for you to follow. If you go to that website link, just click on Docs. It'll take you right to where you need to go and get all this information. So yeah, very, very good. Jay, I know we're been taking up your time this morning, but I wanted to jump in maybe to some use cases before I let you go. Is there maybe 2 or 3 standout projects or innovations that you can point out on the Aptos ecosystem?
Yeah. So in terms of projects wise, I think it makes sense to highlight one of our largest projects on Aptos, which is Aries Markets. Right, it is a money market where users can supply, deposit any kind of assets that they support. Right, and that is the like USDC, APT tokens, BTC, ETH, etc. Right, you can supply your assets and use them as collateral on the money market. Right, and this is very similar to Aave, which is also coming soon to Aptos, where you will be able to supply your USDC as well within Aave and use them as collateral within their money market. Right, and I would say they make up the backbone of the DeFi ecosystem. Right, where if let's say you have excess assets within your wallets and you do not want to just hold in your wallet, you can actually put your asset into this money markets, and they'll be earning yields through supplying them. Right. Another one of the more interesting projects that is on Aptos, it's Merkle Trade. Right. It is our largest perpetual DEX on the ecosystem, right? Allows people to essentially long and short any kind of popular assets, right? For example, long and short ETH, Bitcoin, APT. And that is where it caters to traders and degen traders. And the team is based in Korea, right? So they get access to a lot of the Korean degen traders that likes to do risky trades on the perpetual DEX, right? So I think those are the few very interesting projects that we see on the Aptos ecosystem.
Very neat, very neat. Now, I know that prior to getting on the show, we talked about some potential features like send to email that you're discussing. Perhaps you can jump into that and give a little insight or preview of what's potentially on the roadmap.
Yeah, so this has been a very interesting feature that our product team at the lab site has cooked up, right? So one of this big product is called Aptos Connect, which allows anyone with a Gmail account or Apple account to create a wallet on Aptos, right? And this wallet, one very cool feature is that you can then send USDC just by typing in another person's Gmail address, right? So if let's say I want to send you some USDC, right? Sam, maybe your email is like sam@gmail.com, right? I can just send it to you directly, and you'll get a link on your Gmail. You can click it, and opens up an Aptos Connect wallet, right? And immediately you're onboarded to Aptos. You get USDC immediately, and it's a very useful tool for developers to onboard.
I'll make sure to give you my email after the show. We can test this out. You can send me some USDC. Just a little bit. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll get you onboarded on Aptos. So it's a very neat way for developers, right, who are targeting not just the more Web3 native users, but they want to target new users like my grandma, right, who has no idea what a MetaMask or a Petra wallet on Aptos is, but she has a Gmail account, right? So I can send her USDC and she's onboarded onto Aptos, right? So I think that's a very neat feature to have, especially if we are thinking about onboarding the next generation and millions of users.
Now, what about social logins? Is that something that you all are looking to expand on as well?
Yeah. So the Aptos Connect itself, it's a social logging tooling, right? So you can log in with your Gmail.
Okay. Yeah. Neat.
It's a Gmail that I send USDC to, and then you can just log in with the Gmail account. You get an Aptos wallet address, and you can interact with any of the Aptos ecosystem projects and use the USDC on chain.
Neat. That's great. I mean, what would you say are some of maybe the real world impacts of native USDC that you're seeing right now?
Yeah, I think the most powerful one, it's being able to transfer USDC natively from any of the major EVM chains, from Solana to Aptos, right, without going through an intermediary bridge, right? I think that is very important because I think over the past few years, there are some sensitivity around like the trust assumption with bridges. And then CCTP allowing for cross-chain transfers of native USDC, right, just takes away this trust assumption, right? And that is a huge impact for native USDC on Aptos.
Very neat. I'm looking over here. I see Aptos DeFi ecosystem represents Eris Market and Merkle Trade. Alpha just dropped. So yeah, everybody see that and jump in, check it out. Ash, as we kind of close out this very fun live. These are always great to do. Thank you guys for honestly jumping on this and hanging out with us live with the community. I see, man, over 2,200 people tuned in live right now. What are some key takeaways for developers and the community members, which I love that you all shouted out, like very prominently, very early on. So what are some maybe the key takeaways?
Yeah, and this conversation has been amazing, and I'm so surprised that there are that many people here. Not surprised because you guys throw a good show, but that they all saw my headshot.
It was definitely, I was going to say that, but, I didn't want to, put you on the spot. It was a headshot.
Yeah,
it was a headshot.
A little nervous. No, what I would say is now is the best time to build on Aptos. We are extremely hungry. We think we've barely scratched the surface. If you think about what we've built, I kind of enumerated some of those at the beginning, but we've also convinced very prestigious financial institution, to onboard onto our chain as in many ways the first non-EVM chain to do so, because of our pedigree, because of our security, because of our speed. And I think naturally, as part of the architecture and our dev tooling, we've built everything for easy access to the most normal user possible. That is in our brain, that is in our blood. And so any developer who's looking for minimal friction to bridge kind of Web 2 users over to Web 3, there's no other place to go besides Aptos. So I would say that bring your ambition. We invest with high conviction, and we have a ton of resources and support that we're going to be announcing soon in the next 24 to 48 hours of how we empower builders and founders in key areas. So, obviously, stay tuned kind of across all our channels. We'll be posting some updates and building in public forever. And so that's kind of what my parting soundbite will be.
And I'll just add that you have an amazing social team. I mean, they are active out there. I see them. They're active out there. Shout out to that. Whoever's behind, I'm going to find out. They're real active out there. I like that. Jay, anything you want to add at the end here?
Yeah, I mean, shout out to Nick and Camille from the social scene who have been handling this behind the scenes, right? Making sure that this is spread out to the Aptos Twitter followers, right? So I think huge shout out to them. And if you are a developer building in DeFi, right, do hit us up. We are actively helping developers from all stages, right? If let's say you're only in ideation or proof of concept, or you've already built out MVP, or you're already a live project on another chain that wants to explore building on Aptos, right? Hit us up in our DMs. Right? We are more than happy to guide you through on what's possible and what's the potential that we can help you to grow your project on Aptos itself.
Great. Look, Corey, I'll give you a couple of minutes as well, and after that, do some housekeeping.
Yeah. Just to close out, I'd like to point developers to some really good resources to get started. So, one is, like I said, in our stablecoin section of our developers.circle.com docs page, there is a quick start guide that you can walk through as a developer to perform your first USDC transaction on Aptos' testnet. So please, use that as a resource to understand how to transact with our token contract, the USDC token contract on Aptos, to do basic transactions on the Aptos network. But also, too, I'd like to give a shout out to the Aptos team because their developer documentation is next level. And they have some really good SDKs and libraries for Web 2 developers to actually come in and start building really quickly. Check out their TypeScript SDK that's in the aptos.dev site. And
that's great.
If you are a JavaScript, TypeScript developer, there is more than enough libraries within that SDK to make it easy for you to communicate and transact with their smart contract protocols and their blockchain as well, without having to understand how to program in the Move programming language, which can be new. But they've done a lot of work to abstract away all of the learning curves in building SDKs and libraries around common programming languages that developers most commonly use today in the world. So definitely check out both documentation sources to get up and running. If you're looking for the testnet and mainnet token contract addresses for Aptos' USDC, again, that is on the developers.circle.com website, where we list all our token contract addresses to make sure you're interacting with the correct and the native USDC token contract.
Absolutely. And I went ahead and added that. That's been splashed all over the screen. The QR code, if you're on a MacBook, or you got us on your big screen TV, after seeing that picture, they probably got us on a big screen TV, Ash. I'm just letting you know. Or if not, we got the URL available to you. So make sure you do that as well. Once again, this week, we're going to be at Denver. The whole team's going to be out there having a great time. We've got our Dev Summit that's taking place. I'm going to put up a QR code for our community day, which is taking place on Friday. It's going to be great. It's going to be fantastic. Make sure you come hang out. You're going to get to meet a lot of our ecosystem and community partners that have been building on top of USDC. And that's right after the 27th, which is our dev tooling day, where you're going to see Corey, you're going to see Jenna, you're going to see all of our team out there really spotlighting exactly what he's talking about, how to build with some of our SDKs. Get yourself really, really up to date and up to speed on just what it means to be a Circle developer. So we'll have all that there listed for you. Let me see. I'm pretty much sure. I know that. Oh man, hey, thank you. Shout out to the Aptos Twitter handle. Awesome job. They've been putting out a lot of great information here. Boom. And I think they even added some Aptos builders community. So, it was fun. Thank you all for joining us. It's been a great show. Everybody here, hold on tight. I'm gonna go ahead and sign off, and I want to thank you all separately. Everybody else, I'll see you this week in Eat Denver. Take care, everybody.
Hey, Sam, can I say one more line?
What's up?
Circle and Aptos looking good here, baby.
That's right. We're looking good. We're looking good. Take care, everybody. Happy Monday. Let's get to it.